Hi guys, hope all of us are doing great. In this specific video, we're going to look at the concept of reflection. And they've promised from our first video on the various types of transformation that we're going to deal with these specific kinds of transformation at an individual level. So today we're going to look at the concept of reflection. And basically, I'm going to consider the reflection of or a reflection around a line. And we defined reflection as a concept of mirroring an object, whereby I'm given an example of an object as f, and then we had a mirror line, and then we had an object given as such. Sorry for that. Now we're going to consider various aspects of reflection and some of the characteristics that we're going to see being displayed, especially in the concept of direction and the description of various points, especially if we are going to consider regular figures. Now in this case, if you look at this specific concept of transformation that we refer to as a reflection, we can be able to describe a reflection of a point. Now that we define the concept of a point P, let's regard this one as point P. So for us to find a reflection of this specific point, we're going to perform a measurement from this specific point to the mirror line, and this is going to form some kind of a perpendicular bisector, or a perpendicular line between this specific point and this mirror line that we can be able to refer to as I. And of course, we're going to have this one as an object, representing our object, and therefore we're going to have another point P prime at this specific point. Later on, we're going to see that this specific distance is equivalent to that one, and that is going to be one of the characteristics of reflection that we're going to see later. Now this one is going to be referred to as an image, just as I've illustrated from this specific point. Now suppose we consider a regular figure like a triangle. We can be able to illustrate this specific concept of reflection using this example of a triangle that I'm going to have on the board, whereby we have triangle ABC given as such, and then this ABC is reflected in this mirror by having it as C prime, B prime, and A prime respectively. Now we're going to note that the distance between this mirror line and this point of A vertex of this triangle, and then from the mirror line to A prime, is going to be the same. Therefore, we're going to see that specific characteristic being displayed by this specific concept of reflection, and this one is going to be the same. And then we're going to have this P to P prime. So this distance as well is going to be the same. So this is one of the characteristics that we're going to see being displayed by this particular concept of reflection. But contrary to that, we're going to see that if we try to look at the specific direction or the specific orientation of these specific letters, we're going to consider perhaps an individual moving from this specific point over A to C. That one will be the motion along this specific path from A to C is going to be an anti-clockwise direction. But in us trying to describe the image over this specific triangle from A prime to C prime, this is going to be an anti-clockwise direction. Therefore, we are going to see that the concept of a reflection is going to display various characteristics, which we are going to note, of course, which are going to be described as either the characteristic of an image or an object. Therefore, whenever we perform the concept of reflection, we're going to see that the length of this specific image or object from the mirror line and the image from the mirror line is going to be the same. Therefore, we can be able to describe the concept of length as being conserved. So under this particular transformation of a reflection, the concept of a length is conserved. And of course, the angle measure, later we're going to see from our evaluations that the angle measure is going to be conserved. So if this one was theta, then therefore this is going to be perhaps a theta prime. Then we are going to see that theta is equivalent to theta prime, that specific, or rather theta 1 is equivalent to theta 2 in that specific respect, and the other angles are going to just follow that specific analogy. And lastly, we're going to see that basically there's one of the aspects which is going to be changed, and they describe the concept of anti-clockwise and clockwise. So this is going to be clockwise, sorry for that. So for the transformation, we're going to see that this specific orientation is going to be changed in the image. Therefore, the image is going to have a clockwise orientation, while this one is going to have an anti-clockwise. Therefore, this aspect of orientation is going to be changed. So therefore, orientation is going to be changed in this type of transformation that we refer to as a reflection. So those are some of the characteristics that we're going to note later. So we're going to do some specific examples of practical applications, or of course analysis of this concept of a transformation. And this is going to assist us, of course, try to make some important conclusions on this particular aspect of transformation that we refer to as reflection. So catch us in our next video as we're going to look at the second one. And of course, that is going to assist us contrast the various aspects of a transformation that we have already talked about, or the one that we're going to talk about. So that is it for now, guys. Bye. Catch us in our next video.